Okay.
Hey, Fatfish heads! It's time for another edition of the hottest new podcast on all platforms, Fatfish. Sit back and strap yourself in for the wildest ride on the open seas. Now, flap your fins for the fabulous Fatfish brothers, Eric Fish Snyder and Brad Grunny Grunberg, a.k.a. Snacks.
You know I love my snacks, man. You know what? I had a dream that this show is number 80.
Yeah.
Oh,
You had you
80?
you had a dream? What are you, Martin Luther Grunberg?
Yes,
I
I had
have a
that this
dream.
is 80.
Here's the
Is this-
problem. When
Yeah.
you dream, and we have to say hello to everybody in Fat Fish Land. When you dream and you wake up, this is what the nightmare is.
Ah!
I
Oh,
love
God,
that.
it's frightening.
I could look at that and laugh every time. And your
And he
beautiful
loves
daughters in
to
back of you. Look at the look on your face. What were you dreaming about when you woke up like that?
I was dreaming that we'd make it to 80 shows.
Oh, stop! You'd be better
Uh,
comic than that. Come on. You have the look of
I was
elation
probably
on your face.
just happy and had a nice sleep. Probably dreaming of my birthday and coming up, and probably pretty girls always.
Right.
Hot
That's it.
babes. Hot babes.
Yeah.
Look at
That's a
Annie.
look
She's
of
like, oy vey. Annie, give her that oy vey's mirror.
that's a look. That's the look of elation like we're gonna have this week with just one of the biggest sports weeks. This is it. You talked about it last week on the podcast. Hi everyone, welcome to Fat Fish. Look at your little banners here and see what we're doing here and let you know what's going on in our life. There you go, right there.
I love it.
This is it. The Dodgers, and I'm nervous about the Dodgers and the Padres, Bradley. Big time.
I am too.
Yeah.
I mean, San Diego's gelling, man. They're gelling.
Oh.
Second half of the season, it's been unbelievable. And it's all about momentum, right? It's all about momentum. And San Diego has that momentum. So we'll see tonight. First game.
It's one of the great stories is I followed. I love watching the baseball playoffs, and the Detroit Tigers were 10 games back on August 10th with, according to John Hardison, our of the Game Winning podcast, a regular contributor to this podcast, a 0.2% chance of making the playoffs, which is the same chance you have of ever sleeping with Jennifer Aniston. 0.2. So you always talk about positivity and love and I've never
Yeah.
ever give up. There you go.
Yeah.
Detroit Tigers, 0.2% chance.
Yep.
And they made it. And it's just a wonderful story. Kansas City goes into Baltimore. I mean, great. Look, something's going to happen. There's going to be the Mets had a great resurgence in the second half of the season. So you Mets, Phillies, got the Guardians and the Tigers. You got the Royals and the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Padres. I'm going all old school. I'm going Dodgers, Phillies, and I'm going Yankees, and I'm going the Tigers. What about you?
I love the Dodgers. I want the Dodgers, but I've never been this scared before. San Diego has a chance, but I hope the Dodgers squeak it out in the end. But I think it's going all the way. The series is going to the distance.
Yeah.
Tigers, definitely. Tigers have momentum. They're like the San
So
Diego of the American League.
Sure.
And Yankees, they have to prove something. This has been ridiculous the last couple of seasons. And then the Phillies, they're playing well. But look what the Mets did. Look what the Mets did. They were out. The corner was pulling. He was backing his van. He was backing the van.
The hearse.
The hearse into the locker room of the Mets. And Big Pete, he said, "I don't think so. Not this year, baby."
No.
Boy, what a home run! What a home run!
Well, a big fan of this show and a guy that we love, Keith Berman, who's kicking ass right now. He is just
Keith.
gaining weight and doing well in his battle against pancreatic cancer. Huge Met fan, the biggest Met fan I know.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets diagnosed with cancer, and the Mets are really in a swoon. And then he's fighting this, And I love the kind of drama. You're a screenwriter. They start their resurgence, and it's kind of cool to watch the symbiotic between the both of them. And look, if I had to root for one team to win the World Series
Yeah.
other than my Dodgers, and you know what? If the Mets winning the World Series this year is the crowning achievement of Keith Berman's life and his battle, I'll give up my love for the Dodgers because I know that sounds very Pollyanna, but you know what? This is a
Amen.
great story.
Amen. Keith, he's been fighting so hard. He deserves some joy. He loves the Mets, and the Mets spiritually know Keith, and they're gonna go far. They're gonna go far. I
You
mean,
know what's interesting is Keith lives in San Diego,
mhm,
and if the Mets played San Diego, I'm going to try. If I have a couple of contacts, I'm going to try. It's a
yeah.
long shot to get him. I know it's hard for him to move, but that would be great if he can go to the
Oh,
LCS if the Mets play San Diego. But that being said, I'd rather the Mets play the Dodgers, and
right.
we can go through that. Hey, we get nostalgic on this. Talk about our grandmothers all the time and our great past, and when you lose someone, obviously, and we've been losing people left and right. I mean, we've been doing this podcast almost 2 years, and we've seen so many great people in the industry. And we lost John Amos, and I'm still pissed off over James Earl Jones dying. He was 93, but not as pissed off on this. Is just a great meme. Look who just went through the Field of Dreams this
Oh,
past week.
yep, yep,
Peter Edward Rose,
yep.
80, was he
He's
83 years
83.
old?
83.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's doing a picture. He's at a baseball signing convention with Bobby Tolan and Dave Concepcion and Tony Perez, a lot of his ex-Reds.
George Foster.
Sure. And the next day he dies. I don't know. Brad, did they ever say what he died of? Does it matter?
Yeah, he died of. He had heart disease,
Okay.
and I think he just fell. He went to sleep and didn't wake up, and that's the way we all want to go. No
You,
pain.
you're, yeah. Your brother did a great documentary about this guy that just recently came out. Again,
Yeah, it was. Oh, it was
just the
fantastic.
timing it was great. But you even though you're young, you have a memory of Pete Rose. We were Dodger fans growing up, and the Reds used to be in our division back in the 70s and 80s. And he embodied everything the way I want to live life, not the gambling and the stuff out of the game. But the name of this podcast today is Fat Fish 80. Fish and Grunny go Charlie Hustle, one of the greatest nicknames of any athlete or anyone ever. Give me your take on Pete Rose, and I want you to go off on this. So give me your take on Pete Rose as a player, what he
Yeah,
meant to you watching him grow up, and does he belong in the Hall of Fame? I'm gonna leave that meme up if I'm going to Hall in the
yeah. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Long time ago, he inspired his players to play hard. I mean, he would get out there and how he ran to first base, how he ran the bases, how he played in the field. This guy played the game the way it should be. Now some of these players they get a little corn on their finger and they stay out. They're on the DL for 2 weeks. This guy played through pain, and but his personal life, he went to jail. He got in lots of trouble. He was his own worst enemy off the field. But when he was on the field, there was no better. And I'm telling you, I pray the Hall of Fame wakes the fuck up and says, you know what? Posthumously, let's put him in. Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He's the all-time hit leader. That's it. End of story. And you know what? With all the bullshit and the steroids and all that crap, this guy, yes, he gambled. He probably, I watched the documentary, and if you haven't seen it, you got to see it. It's on HBO Max. It's phenomenal. It's really the Zipper brothers. They ask Pete questions. They set him up good, and but it's a wonderful journey through his life and through his baseball career.
one of the great segments of that your brother's involved with is that he's sitting with the great Reggie Jackson, and Reggie Jackson was Mr. October. And Reggie Jackson goes, um, Pete. And Pete goes, I can't believe one time I struck out 5 times and I struck out 5 times in a game. And Reggie goes, I struck out in a week 50 times. You know, it just shows you, Rose, you talk about running the first base. He used to run the first base when he walked. That's just the way
Yeah,
he played the game. He
yeah,
knocked out um Ray Fosse at home plate in the 1970 All-Star game. That's how much he took it in 10. He didn't take All-Star games. I'm going to give you another meme of him, and I got two quick stories about him. That's the guy I remember. I mean,
Yeah.
always going head first into the plate. We'll go this one back here. He had a great line. I don't think they said it in your documentary, but they talked about it. Bob Costas said, Pete was famous for saying, he goes, I would go through hell in a suit full of gasoline just to play baseball.
Yeah.
You know,
He loved the game. He
and
loved
he
the
loved
game.
the game, and he all-time hits leader. And again, he was horrible. You said it. Kudos. I'm not going
Yeah.
to add on that. You said he had a really rough life. He had a lot of indiscretions off the field. The other great story is he goes to the Hall of Fame with Bob Costas. He's in Cooperstown, and he's staring at Ty Cobb's bust. You know, Ty Cobb was not a great guy at all.
Horrible guy. Horrible
Oh,
guy.
horrible man, just horrible. Beat his wife. I mean, horrible to
Yeah.
women. And
Yeah.
Pete looked at it and had tears going down his eyes. And they said he got in, and they think I'm as bad as he is. He goes, I'm not. I'm not,
Yeah.
Bob. You know.
Yeah.
So we
True.
we 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 leave. He leaves us, and you know. And I hope the young people that watch our podcast, and we do, go back in YouTube and watch the way this guy played the game. There's no entitlement. There's no holding out for money, and
Yeah. Yeah.
he's everything that James Earl Jones said about baseball. It's good, what it could be again, and rest in peace, Peter Edward Rose.
Yes. Rest in peace. Thank you for all your thrills you gave us. And there's a nice, I think there's a special place in heaven for him, baseball heaven, you know.
Yeah,
He'll
he could
get
be
in.
with
He'll
he
get
could
in.
be with Nanny Klein. Nanny Klein could be making him right now matzo ball soup.
Yeah.
Peter, it's cold
Chicken
outside
sandwich.
when you. It's cold chicken sandwich. It's cold outside. All right. I want you to wear a sweater when you go out to bat,
Yeah. The chick fund. Take a
and
jacket. Take a jacket.
take a jacket. So
Yeah.
okay, we're gonna
Yeah.
switch gears a little bit, get a little bit more fun. Um, Brad, first of all, how'd your audition go yesterday?
Um, to be honest, it was some horrible copy. The script was terrible. I mean,
Uh,
I'm being honest. I mean, I did the best I could, and I went over to my buddy Stell's house. He has this great setup to do self tape, and we read a couple times, and it was terrible. I mean, there's so much stuff out now that is god awful, and I don't even know how this stuff gets greenlit, but I did the best I can. It's like going to the gym, Fish. You got to keep going to the gym to keep your muscles strong, you know, as an actor. So I hadn't had an audition in a long time. I got a great manager, a great agent, but times are different. I tell people this all the time. Show business is on life support. It's on life support. It
wow.
really is. Oh,
Why? So say why.
um, they're not buying anything. They're only doing
Wow.
reboots and sequels. They're scared. They don't want to lose money, you know, and that's going to take its toll because people don't want to see the same hospital drama, the same thing over and over again, the same cop show, the same. I mean, you know, sitcoms. There's some sitcoms out there I try to watch because that's my thing, comedy guy, but I can't watch them. I mean, I can't even get through the first 5 minutes because
So
that's how a sitcom really presents itself. It's it gets you in the first 5 minutes, so you keep watching, or a script in the first 10 pages you get your hooks in the person and they continue to read.
no one has a better pulse of the business than Brad Grunberg, aka Grunny Snacks.
I don't know about
And
that.
I get a lot of emails about it. No, you do. You're in it. You've been in it for 30 years. So
Yeah.
what? That's a bold statement you just made, and it's a hard take. You're saying that Hollywood was just so used to great script writers and the creativity, and let's put a story and make it a 2-hour film.
Mhm.
So you're saying that they're foregoing that just to reconstitute the same old crap and try? Is it more of an AI thing?
There's so much to it, but yeah, AI. You know what they do now? They take fish, an orange, a banana, um, McDonald's, and then a script comes out in 20 minutes. It's not a good script, but that's how AI works, and it's terrible, absolutely horrible. I mean, the screenwriter is what it's all about. It's about a guy sitting down or a woman sitting down, pen to paper, or in this case, laptop, and creating, something from nothing. And it's all about the writer. It's all about the word on the page. So, but
So
listen, I had a horrible audition because the material was horrible. To answer your question, but what you do as an actor, you move on to the next one. You don't beat yourself up. Move on to the next one, and that's it.
that's transparency, Fatfish friends. That is absolute honesty. That's what we love about you. Because we did a promo yesterday for Nick Pasquale Foundation. Of course, I guess we're snacks, and trying to be funny. I said, well, I got to go solo. I feel naked. He's on audition for a donut commercial. He goes, think he'll get it? I go, of course he'll get it. But I tell you, funny. I wish it was a donut commercial. I'm sorry. You know what? The fact that you're so honest about it, and it's a
I'm
shame
not gonna.
that
I'm not. Listen, if I can help young actors hear my
yeah,
story about what the business is all about and what it's become, uh, if I lie to them, I'm doing them a disservice. I want to
sure.
be honest, fully transparent.
Absolutely,
So
you are. Yeah, great narrative.
yeah.
And talking about regurgitating, I've heard very mixed reviews of the new Joker that came out with Lady Gaga and Phoenix. What's his name?
Oh,
Joaquin
yeah,
Phoenix.
Milwaukee Phoenix.
Very, very mixed reviews.
Hmm.
And again, you're taking that movie was a blockbuster. The one he won the Academy Award for, the Joker.
Right.
Two things about it: the Batman series as it is amazing with the different kind of spin-offs they've had. I am watching something on HBO Max right now called The Penguin with Colin Farrell. Phenomenal. It's written by the Terrence Winter, The Sopranos, whoever that guy touches. I didn't
Uh-huh.
realize that Terrence Winter wrote The Wolf of Wall Street and the main writer on The Sopranos. That what Brad's talking about. That's screenwriting. That's
Mhm.
writing for TV. Colin Farrell's terrific, and the Penguin's obviously one of the Batman characters. Okay, I'm going to show you a meme because I'm going to ask you. We've had Cesar Romero was the original Joker, Jack Nicholson. We have Joaquin Phoenix, who just won the Academy Award. My favorite Joker is this guy. I want to ask you. I thought Heath Ledger was
Oh,
phenomenal. You know, I never thought he
absolutely.
had it in him. I always
Yeah.
saw he was like a superhero type guy in The Patriot with Mel Gibson, stuff like that. The good looking guy, and he did that role. Who's your favorite Joker? Uh, have you
Well, we
seen?
miss we miss you, Heath. He was
Yeah.
something really special. I gotta say, my favorite Joker has got to be Jack Nicholson. I,
Yeah.
I love him. I love him. There's just something about him. Um, and and of course I love Michael Keaton. Beetlejuice,
Oh,
Beetlejuice. Just
that's the original Batman. He's a
yeah,
Batman too.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's a
interesting when
great.
you the Batmans from Ben Affleck to the rest of the crew. They go.
George Clooney, Val
Yeah,
Kilmer,
yeah.
Michael Keaton, Ben
Yeah.
Affleck, Christian Bale is now. I mean, it's almost like the James Bonds. Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Daniel Craig. Now that there's a new guy. I forgot the new James Bond's going to be. Oh yeah, Brad Grumberg. Anyways, that'd be
Sure.
great.
Oh, that
Yeah,
would be fantastic.
yeah. Come on,
James
yeah.
Bond. The suit barely fits me. It's the
Well,
buttons.
they always do a long chase scene to start the movie. It's
Yeah,
great stunts. They're jumping over bridges. It takes about 10 minutes of the film. With you,
yeah.
it would take a half an hour to have you run across the bridge. But getting back to the Joker and stuff like that,
Yeah.
you brought up Jack Nicholson. That's one that came out in 1989 with Michael Keaton. And there's a great line. Jerry Hall, who is Mick Jagger's wife, plays his mistress, and Jack is getting ready to go to a debutante ball, and he's got this beautiful uh, tuxedo on, and she's fixing up his bow tie. And she looks at him and she goes, "Damn," she goes, "You look so good. You are so awesomely handsome." He looks at her and goes, "I didn't ask."
Oh,
He was
that's
so
great.
perfect in everything. So, uh,
He's one of our special actors. I mean, that guy. He hasn't acted in like 20 years, but he he's. I mean, from Cuckoo's Nest, the list goes on and on. Just phenomenal,
well, I heard
phenomenal.
he's got some cognitive stuff going on. Is there
Yeah.
an actor out there? I got some emails. This first one's I want to go to actors. First one's from Leah from Sandusky, no last name. She goes, Brad probably could do a food show. Dot dot dot. Goes,
Okay.
does Brad remember the Baskin Robbins 31 flavors? And has he tried all of them?
Ah, What's her name again? What's her name?
Leah
What's her
from Sandusky, Ohio.
Leah,
No
are you
last name.
single? Are you
Yeah.
single? I've
Yeah.
tried. No, I've not tried all 31, but close. But close.
Jesus.
Oh
I
God.
remember the bubblegum ice cream. So here's another one. This is from Dante, Las Vegas, Nevada. Brad, you've been in the business so long. Is there any actor or actress that you would be starstruck around? Like you'd have that, oh my God, that's them. And you walk into a bar and they're standing there and oh my God, I
Yeah.
can't believe Jack Nicholson's there. Is there anyone
Oh
I'm
my.
asking you for Dante,
Well,
is there anyone you're starstruck?
well, I used to work in the 20th Century Fox commissary, so waiting on all the big stars. So I don't really get excited or star starstruck. But John Candy, that was big for me. And when God, God rest his soul, he left us at 42. But when I met him and I saw him, I'm like, oh my. And I've told this story before. I warmed up a TV show. I was a warm up guy for the longest time. A guy comes out, talks to the audience, explains, what's going on, who this is, who that is, keep him in the storyline. And John Candy was on this show called The Dave Thomas Show, his best friend from Second
Sure.
City,
Yeah.
and it was for CBS, a sketch comedy. And I'm warming up the crowd. All of a sudden, John Candy walks over. He's behind me, and then I go, "Oh wow, hi John." He goes, "Can I talk to the audience?" I go, "Sure." And he takes the mic. He goes, "Hi, I'm John Candy." Of course, we knew who he was, right? He said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I have never seen a guy in my career do this job better than this guy." And he points at me. I go, "What?" I mean, I'm saying, "John, what?" I go, "Oh man, thank you, sir. Oh my God." He goes, "It's John, not sir." And I gave him some. I always go to the 99-cent store and buy all sorts of junk. And then whoever's on the show, they sign it. We give them a can of whatever corn, and they put it up on their mantle. But that was the ultimate compliment from my hero, John Candy. So to answer your question, John Candy, Gene Hackman. But John Candy is my all-time favorite comedy actor. So that's who I would get starstruck over. How about you?
Yeah.
How about you?
I'm going a little bit further back. I would get. I'm a big Clint Eastwood guy.
Okay, yeah.
But back in the day, the Dirty Harry, those spaghetti westerns, I
Mhm.
would get starstruck over him. Believe it or not, he just passed away. James Earl Jones. I can't. I still think the Field of Dreams meant a lot to
Wait,
me
wait
because I had
before you go.
relation.
No, wait
Say
before
again?
you go. Clint Eastwood didn't pass away.
No, I'm saying
You
no.
mean
James
James
Earl
Earl
Jones just
Jones?
passed
Oh, okay,
away.
okay,
Yeah, James Earl Jones. No, Clint Eastwood's still alive,
yeah,
and I would be starstruck if I saw him because I just love the body of work. I love his direction, and he's still
yeah.
doing it. James Earl Jones, Field of Dreams. You talked about it in the past podcast. That movie meant a lot to me. I mean, a lot of guys who had issues with their dads, and then dads want to have a catch. It wasn't a dry eye in the theater when I saw it, but James
Yeah.
Earl Jones stole that film. Um, what about a female actress? Who do I have? Who am I starstruck? Oh, I was starstruck. I was really. I loved Elizabeth Taylor. That's just, our
Oh,
young audience will know who she is. I
yeah.
know we talked about Scott Thompson, a la Carrot Top, had a great story about her. As much as she's been married 1,000 times, she really was a talented actress. You must know that from your people you've worked with.
Yeah.
So I go to old school.
She's a superstar. She was the epitome of a major Hollywood star. You'd see her walk in a room, you're like, "Oh my God, it's Elizabeth Taylor." And I was fortunate to play her in the sequel to Miss Congeniality 2. I'm towards the end of the film. I'm the doorman at the burlesque club,
Wait a
female
minute. Wait, wait,
impersonator.
wait, wait, wait. You
Yeah.
mean this?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hello. I'm Elizabeth Taylor. What do we have here? Tina and, Coco. Coco? Where do you think you're going? The only people who get to go to the dressing rooms are our fabulous regulars and our open micers after they pass round one. Could you step aside, Coco? And you are?
So that I was one ugly Elizabeth Taylor.
I've
She's so
had
beautiful.
we've had people chime in on our email and say Brad looks better like that than he does in real life. You know, you do great in Thailand as a female
Oh man,
impersonator.
that
I'll
was
give
so
you
much
another one,
fun.
but my all time, my all time. Besides Kenny Stabler, I'm a more of a sports fan than anything, and I got a
I
chance to
can't
meet him.
believe that. No, not you.
But I'll do this. We'll open it up. You drop John Candy, love it. I mean, but my all time for encompasses everything. And I never met the guy. I always wanted to meet Sinatra.
Oh
So
yeah, Sinatra.
if you, yeah. What about you?
What about Tony O? What about Tony O telling us
Tony
great?
O? I got a chance to meet Tony O. I love
I
Tony
know.
O, but
Yeah.
Sinatra
Well, let's
was.
tell the audience. Tony O was the manager for Frank Sinatra and Don Rickles, and he told great stories on our podcast about Frank Sinatra. He had a big heart, Frank Sinatra, huge. He did so many things. You know what I love, Fish? That like Adam Sandler, Scott Thompson, aka Carrot Top. These guys do things. They don't say anything. They help people. They go visit sick kids. They don't bring a camera crew behind them and then post it on their social. They just do it. And that's I subscribe to that. Help people. You don't have to tell everybody what you do. Just do it. It's between you and that person, right?
If you tell people it's disingenuous. It means you want to be known for doing it.
Right.
It's people don't realize we talk about the NBA when we brought his name up, maybe with John Hardison. If you remember this guy that was so great named Tim Duncan that played for the San Antonio Spurs. Do you know what he did behind the scenes with David Robinson, the Admiral? They opened like 6 high. You know how hard it is to build a high school? 6 in the Texas area. You never knew that until I saw that. I was watching one of the morning shows with Stephen A. Smith. They talked about it, but they did it like 15, 20 years ago. Now guys would, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but because there are guys. LeBron James has opened 30 boys clubs in Ohio. But there are guys that every time they do something, they got to have a camera crew there.
Talk about it. He just does it. Sandler too. They just do it. And they help these kids. You might find out through the cracks years later, months later, whatever, but they still don't talk about it. If somebody asks them about it, they might talk about it, but Sandler won't talk about it. He just does it. So I remember that. Yeah, I remember hearing that about Tim Duncan and the Admiral.
Here's another email. This is another email. This is crazy. Scott G from Corpus Christi, Texas. And I'm gonna piss people off.
Scotty G, what's up?
Corpus Christi, Texas, down south, Padre Island, baby. He says, has Brad ever worked on a show and didn't get paid residuals or royalties and had to fight them? Wow.
That's a really good question.
That's from Corpus Christi, Texas. Has Brad ever worked on a show?
Are you going to stop talking? Let me answer the question. Scotty G, let me explain something to you. I think when I'm either dead or in retirement, there is going to be an investigation into some of these these studios and that we weren't paid. There's no, I mean, our union is supposed to protect us. They do a great job, but I guarantee you I'm not being paid what I deserve. Guaranteed. Okay. But I mean, what do I get? A lawyer? I just have to take what they give me. That's it. And I'm very fortunate. I get residuals forever. It's a sliding scale. Let's say I got $1,000 for a movie or a curb. Every time it goes down. It goes down like on Revenge of the Nerds, my favorite movie because it was my first movie. I get every quarter I get $7.75, but that was in 1984. So to answer your question, yes, I believe I'm being effed somewhere with some money. They keep it back. We didn't know that. Oh, thank you for bringing it to our attention. Trust me, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing and how to do it. It's sad because I did the job. I'm making them a lot of money and I just want to be paid accordingly. Good question, Scotty G. Let's party.
One for me, and we'll push up. This actually going to fit me. And I love this one. Tim S. from San Luis Obispo, California, a little bit north of LA. He goes, Fish, I watch your podcast and you look so familiar. You worked in that nightclub in Brentwood that was so popular. He goes, and so I write him back and I said, yeah, Mom Soon. I was there from day one to day done. That's where I met Brad. And he writes back to me, every time I went in there, it was so packed. Did the fire marshals or health department ever shut you down? And I thought about that. And I said, no. I don't know if someone paid someone off.
Yeah, exactly.
But now you got to understand, Brad knows this. because Brad, even though he's 38, lived back then. He's one of those Benjamin Buttons. Things happened in the 80s that were handshake agreements. Hey, Fish, give me a Bud Light and a bump. Would you put something on the bar? They might have put there was no cameras. Things happened in the 80s that was the last bastion of innocence that you just you let it go, let it have. You could pay someone off. I mean, nowadays the cameras everywhere and woke culture, But yeah, there was times we were packed to the brim and we had a big line again in Mom's Room. Remember that, Brad? And I did be packed.
Oh,
People like standing there. I said, "Oh, Jesus Christ, over a fire in this place. We're done."
yeah.
So no, I don't ever see in the health department. I was there all the time. I don't ever remember seeing the health department, Tim. Thank you for the question. Or a fire marshal come in. And I could only imagine what was done in the back rooms between some of my family members and, maybe here you
Same,
go, Inspector. Here you go, Inspector. The envelope's not light.
same. The same thing happened at the Tropicana because we were packing them in, and the fire marshal, they would come in. This is the greatest thing. So I'm doing my show. All of a sudden, I see two fire guys, and they come in, and I say hello to them. They take a lap around the club. They stop, watch some of the girls, keep walking, and then walk out. And then one time I asked him, I go, "Why did you come in?" He goes, "Well, we're supposed to come in and check to see there's no overcrowding and this and that, but man, I love the girls here." I'm like, "Okay, that's why you came in." Listen, in the 80s, 90s, things went on. If people only knew what went on, it's crazy. But now
Yeah,
it's pretty much by the book, right? It's pretty much
we had a
right by.
shower. We had a shower in the office at Mom's Saloon. A shower
Did you?
where we
Oh,
interviewed people. I'm not saying anything. I'm taking the fifth. We also did this, like one quick story. 1983 in October. You were in the place, right? We have a dance floor.
yeah,
The manager, his name was Rand. I can't think what it was that we managed. And all of a sudden I come in one day and there's a kissing booth, which looks like one of those photo things. You take the 6 photos, a
yeah.
kissing booth with a curtain right at the end of the dance floor, right? So what the fuck's this? Well, we figured people want to go and take, do a kissing booth and they could take pictures, this and that. The first night, I guess this guy's kissing this girl and they end up starting to bang each other, right? And the kissing booth goes over and knocks a couple over.
Oh
And that was
God.
it. We forgot word about law. I mean, they did shit in the 80s that was insane. I mean, and no one got pissed off that people were fornicating in the kissing booth. It's just they did it so hard it fell over. I mean, crazy shit happened in the 80s and 90s. And
Oh
yeah,
man.
we're lucky. But no, back then it wasn't as woke. There was no cameras. You could do whatever you want, take the fifth. Guys walked in.
What?
It was,
Yeah.
ugh.
The one thing that has changed from the 80s is with the guns. All this horrible stuff happens when the club lets out at 2 a.m. I always tell people I don't stay out past 10 because nothing good happens at 3 a.m. I had an instance that happened to me.
Wait a minute. Go ahead. I'm up at 3 in the morning working.
Who cares about you? This is my story. Anyway, so I dropped these guys off on Halloween right in Inglewood, but SoFi wasn't there yet, and so I go, that's my last ride. It was a great ride, and then I'm at Prairie and Manchester, right in front of the Forum, right? You know where that is.
Oh,
And all of a sudden, I've got my music on. I'm kicking to the tunes, and all of a sudden, these girls pull up going the other way. So I'm like here, I'm right here, and they're coming from this end. And they had their windows down. They looked at me and they go, "You mother effer honky, you cracker, we're gonna kill you." I'm like, okay. Uh, I know a little bit about martial arts. I did not break. I didn't look at them. I just stood straight ahead waiting for that green light. And they went on, and then they were like on their way towards me. And I hit that green light. Bam! I was Mario Andretti. I hit that freeway, that 405 like a mother. I mean, it was scary. But then I'm saying, what am I doing in Inglewood at 3 a.m.? Bad move, bad move. So things have changed.
that happens
In
everywhere
LA.
nowadays at 3 in the
Yeah,
morning.
that's what I'm saying.
You should be at
Bad.
Chuck's Tavern inside with me at 3 in the morning, listening to great tunes,
Yeah.
eating fish, talking with the fish, just strippers and every day. Here you go. Here's an email from Fish to the show. Hey, Fish, How many times does Brad Grunberg text you while you're working and saying, "Are there any hookers in there? Are there any strippers?"
A
And
lot.
what are you gonna do? Get Donald Sterling's helicopter and fly over from L.A.? Yeah. So, speaking of which, Brad, we talk about LA all the time, and
Yeah.
nostalgia is a big word, and we both grew up there, and you live there still, and I envy it sometimes because I miss it. But I
We
live here.
happy we got rid of you anyway.
Well, this is I want to ask you because
Yeah.
you love this city also. What this city means to you. Check out the great city of Las Vegas in 1969. Look at
Uh,
that. The Stardust. That's Vegas. That is it. That was the strip. The Riviera, the Stardust, the Sands, the Dunes was alive. Caesar's Palace is there.
Frontier.
And
Yeah.
that if you look in that picture, everybody,
Great
most
picture.
of the people that lived in Vegas could see that. They could see that from their homes. That's what in 1969 there wasn't a lot of people here. I want Brad to talk about what this city means to him, and I'll talk about it.
Yeah. Well, first of all, when the mob ran Vegas, that was the best. When it went corporate, it's awful because the mob knew, like, you didn't have to play another 3 hours at the blackjack table, $5 hands to get a buffet. The mob would say, "Give them 10 buffets. I don't give a fuck. They're going to come back and spend money." And just the mob, they treated everybody right. Old Vegas. That's what we should go back to, not this corporate shit. Oh, I can't give you the room. I'm sorry. You didn't play enough. You're 10 minutes shy of us giving you. I mean, bullshit. So I like old Vegas and I love all that good stuff that happened back when. So I like old Vegas, but Vegas is Vegas, baby. You're always going to have a good time. The adult Disneyland.
It's the adult Disneyland, and the strip is still at 90% capacity. Even though we're going a little bit of a slump here with the economy, we're still getting people coming here, and we're getting adding sports. And what it means to me is I've been here. God, I've been over 3-4 decades now. When I came here, you could look over to my backyard house and look towards the strip. Now it's you've been to my house and you see it where we have yes people. Vegas is just not the strip. We have PTAs, little leagues, movie theaters, restaurants, Costco's. What it means to me is that there's a little bit of the '80s still left in the fact that I don't advocate this, but it helps. You can still smoke in a bar in Las Vegas. You can still do anything you want 24 hours. You can go to a movie at 3 o'clock in the morning if you want. There's a ton of restaurants open 24 hours. All your supermarkets and obviously your convenience stores are 24 hours. So because we all work 24, it's the secular town of the 24-hour clock. I dig that. I like the fact that I could, and I have. I remember when Independence Day came out in 1996. Right, it
Well,
was sold out. The midnight show was sold out. I went to the 3 o'clock in the morning show, sold out. No one's showing any movies in LA at 3 o'clock in the morning
right.
unless it's a porno in their own house.
Yeah, I know
So
that.
yeah, Brad's been to those Hollywood Hills houses. So Vegas is now a big city, stuff like that, and we're growing and growing, and we're one of the fastest.
It's a
Us, San
great town.
Antonio.
It's so much fun. When you go to Vegas, you always have, "Hey, did you have a good time?" Oh man, I had the best time. When I went to Shuck's Tavern, I met this bartender. He wouldn't stop talking, story after story after story. And
Ooh,
then when you say you try to get a word in edgewise, he keeps talking over you.
yeah.
By the way, you know what I'm drinking? Cloud Water, cloudwaterbrands.com. This is such a good stuff. Barry and Mark came up with this wonderful company. It's a seltzer, but I never drank seltzer, but I'm drinking right now half tea and half lemonade. It is so good, and it's good for you. Right? It's good for your gut, and I got a big gut. Please go to cloudwaterbrands.com. That's cloudwaterbrands.com. Use our family friendly discount, FatFish20, and buy yourself a case. You will thank me in the morning. It's delicious, don't you think?
You can catch a Fat Fish podcast on Facebook Live, YouTube, DBTV, Roku. Podbean is everything we do for listeners, okay? And you can't listen. You can only see Cloudwater's hold up. It's fantastic. We'll put Cloudwater because we're on TikTok at Fish6134. Thank you, Shucks Tavern. We are not, every view that we say is not the views and opinions of Shucks Tavern, but it's been a wonderful place to work. It's gonna, I'll retire there in a few years. And then Johnny Cocktails Entertainment. Forget
Tired.
it. forget about the.
Retire. You're not retiring.
All
What are you
right,
going to do? What are you going to do?
work for you. Work
Go
for
to
you.
movies at 3:00 in the morning?
You have 45 projects going on. You don't think you can't get me a job? You got me a
No,
job acting 30
no, I
fucking 2
can't
years
put you.
ago. You know,
Maybe
I
a
just want
driver. We'll make you a driver, a PA, production assistant.
you should make me a bartender on your craft services for one of the films you're going to do, because and I'll make you the greatest pina coladas and
All right.
specialty drinks. I got
Here,
some drinks from our old boy Frankie Oli, who's a big drink on the way
how
up.
is Frankie? We miss you, Frankie. What a great guy.
Says he loves you. He says he misses you, and
Frankie.
he's doing great. He's a friend of the show. We had him on
Yeah.
one of our first 20 podcasts, 60
Yes.
podcasts ago, and since
Uh-huh.
he came on our show, blowing up. Well, you know what he is, people. Frank Oli is like if you want a consultant for your IBM company, he's the guy you bring in if you want to open a bar and do a bar menu that you want creativity to the bar menu. Okay, he will design drinks for you, make it for your staff, show your staff how to make it, and like a locust moves on. So yeah, God, and the kid's young. He's in his late 30s, and again, another fan of Grunberg.
Great
Okay,
guy. Great
great.
guy.
Brad, we have one last email.
Okay, let's do it. I love
Brad, okay. This is Sheila L. Can't pronounce Bellingham, Washington. Sheila L. Bellingham, Washington. Brad, we love the fact that you love your dog Annie. Do you own a cat?
No, Sheila, thank you. No, I'm not a cat person, but I like cats. I like animals, love animals, but I've never been a cat person. But I love animals. But my Annie is my girl, and we have a big day. We're going to the doggy park today. Big day, big day. But yeah, Sheila, I don't. I like people who have cats because they tell me great cat stories. But for me, I'm a doggy guy through and through.
Okay.
Good
Now,
question.
dog park. You got me enthralled. You brought up dog parks. You went to a dog park in Malibu recently. I said, what a great place to meet women. And you go to
Yeah,
one in Santa Monica.
yeah.
Do you ever go to any dog parks in like Gardena or West
No,
Covina?
the dog park in Santa Monica. It's called DDL. No, I'm sorry. What's it called? I'm sorry.
I
PPL.
asked you. What?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. It's so good. It's like a bougie dog park, and we've been going there. And dogppl.com, dogppl.com. Look it up. I mean, it's clean as a whistle. Talk about women there. Oh yeah, the person that invented yoga pants is my hero. Okay, other than the guy who opened In-N-Out Burger, but but no, oh my goodness, dogppl.com is an incredible place, and I go there, and Annie loves it. It's enclosed, it's clean, it's great. The staff is wonderful. They have events, they have mixers, to meet people. It's great. No, it's a lot of fun. So I mean, it's
Yeah,
just
you know what? I've never thought about that. If you're single and you have a dog, and you want to meet someone, and I'm sure they always. You ever had this happen? I brought Molly to a dog park recently, right by my house, and I was getting nervous. Some idiot had a pit bull and was off the leash and attacked another dog. And thank God he had a way to get him off. He attacked a smaller dog. It wasn't a Chihuahua, something bigger than that. And my heart started, and the dog got the other dog, and it got the mouth around it, but never clenched down. And the guy got it. And all I wanted to do, because I'm in anger management, was kill this son of a bitch that had the dog off the leash. So that scares me about. So I got sometimes I'm a pussy, but I don't want Molly being in that situation, because you can't. If you got a dog that's trained. Pit bulls are great dogs, but you could train them to be mean. If any dog can be mean,
right.
I can't. I could never live with myself if a dog attacked my
My
dog.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, can I say one more story? I know I talk a lot. I
Please
walk.
don't.
I walk every
Please
time I
don't.
walk Molly right now. I
I think
walk
I'm
with
going
my.
to jump. Please
Well, I
don't.
walk. Hang on. I walk with a walking stick because of the coyotes. Because
Yeah.
yeah, there are
Oh,
coyotes everywhere around my neighborhood,
oh,
and I'm not afraid of one or two coyotes, but four. They're not looking at me. They're looking at
yeah.
my dog.
I know. It's terrible. I mean, coyotes are the worst. They're coming down like in LA because of all these fires. There's no food up in those mountains,
Yeah.
and it's just terrible. Oh, there's so many. And I have a Ring camera, a couple, and they always say, "Coyote on this street, be careful." It's a great community. ring.com. But yeah, my story goes, I took Annie when she was young to this dog park, and there was a guy with this girl with special needs, and they took the dog off the leash, which is okay because there's a dog park. That dog attacked Annie, got in there,
Ugh.
and the dog put its claw, his teeth on Annie, but didn't bite down. I got him out of there, and I looked at the guy. I go, "What are you doing? The fuck are you doing? Put your dog on a control your dog." He goes, "What do you want me to kill him?" I go, "Did I say that? Just get off your fat ass and put her on a leash. She almost bit my dog." And the guy was like looking at me like laughing. I'm like, "Oh, what's wrong with you, man?" I mean, some people are just cuckoo, man, cuckoo. They just don't get it, man. They should never own a dog. But the sweet girl that was with him, she, was worried about Annie because she saw what happened. Just terrible, terrible. But yeah, you got to control your dog. And there's something about pit bulls. I love pit bulls. I love dogs, but there's something in them that they get violent. They get, I don't know what it is, but people are scared of pit bulls. I'm not, but people are.
Well, they're not going to attack you. You need the
No,
pack
they
of
look at
wolves need
me.
to
Oh,
attack
they look
you.
like a sirloin steak. What are you fucking
Yeah,
talking about?
sirloin steak.
Jesus
Jesus Christ,
Christ. They want a
yeah,
piece of me, boy.
they
They want
they would rather have. There's a reason why they call you snacks, not for them. The snack you're one of these old you're one of these old off the cuckers that has. I guarantee you have candy in your jack packet to give to kids. You have dog treats in each one of your shirt pockets. In your back pocket, you got a Slim Jim, and you got what do you got? What's
yes,
another one? You got a quarter pounder with cheese that's smushed up that you forgot to eat.
yeah,
Come on,
yeah,
man. Brad,
yeah,
you're an open book. Holidays are coming up.
yeah.
Are you big into the holiday? You big in, I mean, Thanksgiving's really literally like 6, 7 weeks away. Then we have the Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and all that stuff. Um, I'm yeah, my favorite holiday, believe it or not, is probably Thanksgiving because I like the family aspect. I don't like any holiday that has to do with religion. Thanksgiving's about families getting together, having a turkey. Well, it's the three F's: football, food, and fornication. So what? That's Thanksgiving.
I like, I mean, I'm not big on the holidays. I give thanks every day. So Thanksgiving was, it is, it's important, but not really that important, to me, because I give thanks every day. My grandma, I always love seeing her during, Thanksgiving, and she brings over her famous stuffing, and maybe everybody brings something, and we've had some really good times. But to me, things have changed. I love Thanksgiving every day. I give thanks every day. But again, going to a good Thanksgiving, seeing family, seeing friends, it's fun. If you, and there's people that are lonely that don't get invited.
Yes.
And I've invited people over the years. Like, where are you going for Thanksgiving? I don't know. I go, well, yeah, you do know. You're coming to my place. So
Yeah.
that's the lonely. Like, remember John Candy? John Candy in Planes, Trains, and
Oh,
Automobiles. Remember
oh,
Steve Martin brought
tear
him over
jerking
because,
scene. Tear
yeah,
jerking.
oh, one of
Tear.
the
Don't give
greatest.
it away because I that movie still
Yeah,
holds its own. But there's a
and
kicker
it's
at
not
the
a
end.
holiday movie, but it is a holiday movie.
It is,
It's
and
great.
I say this in every podcast. The John
Please
Candy's.
don't.
Well, you're gonna these people: John Candy, Adam Sandler, Steve Carell, Will Ferrell. When they act in a
Yeah,
dramatic role,
yeah.
some of them have been nominated for Academy Awards. And John Candy in Planes, Trains, and Automobile at the end,
Wow.
not a dry eye in the
Yeah,
theater,
try in the house.
not a dry eye in the theater.
Please watch
And you
Trains,
have
and
this
Automobiles.
warmth about you when you walk out of the theater. I actually Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Back then you could sit and watch it again. No one kicked you out.
Yeah, yeah.
I watched the movie again because I laughed so hard during some of the scenes.
Right.
You know, now it's great. You
So
can
good.
watch it on. You can rewind it if you miss something. And
Yeah.
there's scenes. Him and Steve Martin's chemistry, probably
Oh,
one of the best chemistry between two characters that are so polar opposite that
yeah.
I've seen in any comedy. Um, Bill Murray. Bill Murray does some straight roles. He was great in Lost in Translation. I just saw that for the first time. Do you see that with Scarlett
Yeah.
Johansson?
Yes,
Oh
I
my
did.
God!
You
You
have
know,
to
Sofia
understand
Coppola wrote
actors
that?
that are comedic actors are great dramatic actors.
Absolutely.
It's true because there's just something. It's harder for a dramatic actor. I think Al Pacino talked about this. Harder for a dramatic actor to do comedy than a comic actor to do drama. And yeah, some great movies. And the movies you quote. Like mine's Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Or Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. You just keep quoting the great lines from them because you know they're part of our vernacular. It's so important that we laugh, for 2 hours, or we watch a dramatic and we learn something from that movie. We relate to it in some way. So,
I'm trying to get this guy in the podcast. One of my best friends, Craig Persky, went to a watch party at the Mann Theater in Westwood for the
oh,
debate between Waltz and Vance last Tuesday.
oh, okay,
And
okay.
he's sitting next to this guy. And he looks at him, and the guy's by himself. And he turns to his girlfriend Elise and says, "Oh my fucking God, that's the actor John Savage." You know.
Oh, wow.
Now John Savage did a movie. Talk about movies. He did a movie that's an indie film that I still to this day I could watch. There's two films I could watch: Pope Greenwich Village and a movie called Inside Moves with him and David Morse. That
Yeah.
was written by Valerie Curtin and Barry Levinson, 2 stars, and Richard Donner's first directing effort. And it's about a guy that tries to commit suicide and hangs out in a bar called Max's Bar. And David Morse is the bartender, and all cripples hang out there. It's all I'm gonna say. John Savage is so wonderful in this movie, and people know John Savage from The Deer Hunter. It's one of the
Right.
played Stevie. And if you saw the guy, can you imagine going to a watch party? So what does Persky say? One of my best friends thinks you're the greatest actor of all time. He goes, "I'm surprised you recognize me." He's got to be in his late 70s. So I go, "Greg, get on my goddamn podcast." Brad and him probably know 20 different of the same people.
Oh my God, that's great. Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, I like going to movies by myself. I mean, I like being by myself. I like, my own company. Some people don't. Some people have to go with somebody. They think they're
Would
a
you go to
loser.
a watch party by yourself? See, what you
A watch
do by
party?
yourself, going to the dog park is great because it's a chance to mingle. You
Yeah.
go to a watch party? Who goes to a watch? I told my look, Craig, I love you to death. I'm throwing you under the bus. I can
No.
never go to a watch party for a debate. But you know why he went there, the schmuck? With a pet. You
Well,
love this is up your alley.
yeah.
There's a great pizza joint in Westwood called La Monica's. It's still there since we were kids,
Yeah.
right? La
Yeah.
Monica's catered the watch party, and he
Oh,
loves La
that's why you
Monica's
went
pizza.
for the pizza?
And he's on a pitch count about how much cholesterol he could eat because he's a
Yeah.
diabetic and all that other
Oh,
kind of shit. So let's pay the fee to go to the watch party. We get free La Monica's pizza. That's how you
oh,
think when you're our age, when you get older. What's the
jeez.
food gonna be at the places you go?
I was in Westwood yesterday, lifting around. I passed it. Oh, it's so good.
Great
That's
pizza.
John Orlando, our buddy John Orlando, who's been on our podcast. That's his favorite pizza place. Every time he comes back to LA, he goes, "Cocktails, you know where we're going, Westwood, man." He loves it there. It's really good. It's so good. It's been there forever. You're right. You're right.
Okay, last email. Okay, I'm reading these as they come
Oh,
along, and I
oh,
see these.
hey,
Why do
that's
they come
great. We love
along?
the email. We love
I get the emails during the week, and I circle some of them. Okay.
wonderful, man. Wonderful.
I don't know if your name is Jesus or Jesus. Jesus Orozco, okay, from Montebello, California. I have no idea. I think it's out in Jesus Orozco, Montebello, California. Are there any restaurants in LA that you and Brad have eat when you were kids that you love so much that are no longer there? I have one. You go first.
No, you go first.
The Falafel King in Westwood. Oh my God.
Oh,
Remember
so
that if you love falafel and
yeah,
shawarmas and Middle Eastern food, it was right there by the Mann Theater. Every
yes.
time I went to LA to visit, I had to go to Falafel King. And I went there after COVID. I couldn't wait. And it said, due to COVID, our doors are closed for good. And
Oh man,
the tears like in
really?
John Candy's and
Yeah.
just that place is
Uh,
there since 1972.
and that's
That's
the sad
one.
thing. The mama papa places are all closing. It's just so sad. Let's see. What did I go to? Oh God. Well, International House of Pancakes is. Oh no,
That
Dupar's.
didn't close.
Dupar's was an
Oh,
Encino.
Dupars.
Dupar's
Oh,
was an Encino, and it's still at Farmers Market. There's one left, and they have the greatest pancakes ever. I don't know what they put in them, but they're fluffy and good. Dupar's, I used to go with my family in Encino. That closed. That became a Jerry's Deli. Now it's closed again, and great location.
Jerry's
the
Deli closed.
heart of Encino, but but yeah, it was definitely Dupar's, and now
Yeah.
there's still one in
I-
Farmers Market.
And I feel bad because I throw. Brad has no idea what I'm going to ask him, so he doesn't have time to prep for it. He'll think of a place that he liked that closed when the show's over. But I'll ask you this:
Oh, by the
there's
way,
a place we're
Dupar's
talking
is
about Westwood.
coffee shop. I just
Okay,
want people to know. Hey,
Let me ask you this.
a coffee shop.
Okay,
Go ahead.
is this place still in Westwood by the West Side Pavilion? Is it still there? Is the Apple Pan still open? Remember the Apple Pan?
Okay, so here's how this goes. The West Side Pavilion's no longer. Google bought it, and it was supposed to be Google. Okay, but then Google decided we don't want it, so they rent it out to different companies. But Irving Azoff, the great Irving Azoff, and his wife decided, what do you mean Apple Pan is closing? They bought it. It's still there.
Great burgers.
They bought Nate Now's. It's still there
Beverly
in the
Hills.
same place. Nate Now's was going to move to another street, and the Azoffs came and go, what? No, absolutely not. So they own the Apple Pan, and they own Nate Now's. They're still there. It's great. It's great. Oh my God, Apple Pan. I used to go with my nanny. Nanny loved. Okay, this is funny. Nanny loved Apple Pan, right? She loved the tuna sandwich, onion on the side. But we had to sit in the window where all the pies are, where they cook the pies. And I go, Nanny, there's 2 seats right here. No, we sit over here. So we'll wait 4 hours for these 2 seats at the counter. Oh, it was so much fun. We got fries. Nanny likes them well done. The ketchup. We had one special waiter. He always he knew I was with my grandma. He always, gave us a little extra, and yeah. If you come to LA, you must go to the Apple Pan on Pico in Westwood, and you got to go to Nate Now's, great, or Factor's Deli is still there. Factor's, Debbie and Susie, they run the show there. It's so good, so good.
Getting hungry.
Art's Deli. What's your favorite deli? What? Okay,
Cantor's in the Fairfax district. I grew up on the West Side. Cantor's is still my favorite. Yeah.
What about in Vegas? What's your place?
The Bagel Cafe. I took you there. You pissed off the owner by the Bagel Cafe is phenomenal.
Let's tell that story. I mentioned what was it? Bagel a Go-Go or Bagel Mania? Bagel Mania, and his face dropped. He goes, "They stole our recipes." I go, "Sir, I'm sorry. I just wanted to make." He goes, "Don't say that ever again in my place." I go, "Okay. Bagel Cafe, number one. Oh my God, he's funny. I don't know how you have any juice. How do you have any juice in Vegas? Look at you.
A lot of juice. We didn't have any juice in Vegas. I
I
can't get any cloud water because you won't get me any, but I have juice. Funny story about Brad. The Bagel Cafe has the biggest menu I've ever seen. I'm in the restaurant bay. It's so many items. And Brad is so good with what's called kibitzing, schmaltzing with the waitress, and she's cute. And he's looking at the menu. He's never looks at her, but he knows she's cute. And she goes, "What do you want?" And we're in a deli, and he goes, "I think I want a hamburger." And she goes, "Well, how do you want it cooked?" He goes, "Medium well." She goes, "What do you want on it?" He goes, "The hot dog." And I lost it. And we all started laughing. So she thinks he's serious. She thinks he's serious. She thinks he's serious, and she walks away because no, I don't want a hot dog on my fucking hamburger.
No, that's a great place called Marty's. They put at home of the combo. They put a hamburger, a cheeseburger, and a hot dog on it. Oh my God, so good.
It's a heart attack. No offense, Marty's. Hey, Keith's kicking ass. Molly's challenge. Nick Pasquale, AJ, thank you yesterday.
I want to give you a big hug and a kiss, Keith.
Yeah,
you're so special, man. You're so special.
And we're going to try and make it down. Go wait real quick a minute. We're going to try and make it down for the golf tournament next week in the mixer. But AJ, can't thank you enough for coming on and sharing more stories about Nick. That was on yesterday. I missed Brad that day. Brad was, talked about the audition. But Brad,
yes, sir.
We're fat fishing 80 episodes. Take us out. Give us a close.
80's in the books, baby. Dave Linden, take us home.
You've been listening to the Fat Fish Podcast, heard on all your favorite platforms. Until next time.